Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, soda machines everywhere. Whether you're a freestyle soda machine or you just dispense soda, or you say, "No, I'm a machine name. My name's Soda Pop, man. I'm in a movie," and I'd say, "Okay, great. But weren't you in a book originally? I'm sorry. I'm talking. Am I confused or are you confused, Soda Pop?" Oh, your father was Soda Pop. You're just soda. Okay, thanks for the clarification. Because you know where you are. You're in my imagination. I'm trying to start a podcast to put people to sleep called Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And here are a couple of ways we're able to do this for you for free twice a week. Hello, everybody. This is your friend Ray, your neighbor, Scooter's neighbor Ray. But really, so good to be in your ears here. So good to be your so Scooter got it mixed up. A few people on Twitter and email said, "Scooter, what about neighbor? Like, couldn't you use that? Boy bae, boy bud, boy bestie, boy buddy, with that boyfriend. What about like neighbor?" A lot of people said that. Great idea, everybody. But Scooter, of course, he learns differently, and so he said Borber on the podcast. So whether you're a neighbor or a Borber, which is like a boring barber to me, Ray, I said, "Oh, hello. I'm Scooter's neighbor, Ray. You may be new to the podcast here. So it's so good to be here in your ears with you. I'm Scooter. Scooter normally introduces me, but he forgot. He said, Ray, we were trying to find a few things. And then Scooter was going to do the thank yous. Normally he does the thank yous, and then I go on. He introduces me. That's how Scooter warms up. I warm up, hello. That's all I need to warm up is knowing you're there, getting comfortable in bed, and when Ray can see you there. And you say, well, I'm going to be a boy bud. I'm going to take in for Scooter and sit with you here and tell you a little tale. And so Scooter, he couldn't find the thing he had for the thank yous. We couldn't find his notebook. And I said, Scooter, don't worry. It'll be fine. We'll do the thank yous tomorrow. But so he couldn't warm up. So I'm Scooter's neighbor, Ray. And I'm here to introduce the podcast. It's actually been a while since I recorded, but by the time you hear this, you'll probably have heard from me already, I would hope, because this one's scheduled for pretty far out there. Okay, your neighbor Ray. What am I supposed to tell you? Okay, so I'm Scooter's neighbor Ray. I've lived by Scooter. We became friends. We go on trips together. And we haven't recorded in a while just because Scooter and I have been reassessing what's sustainable. We've done some tests on Patreon to see, okay, how often do people want to hear from Ray? But also we've learned that it's hard to mix. Now, it's not always hard, as you'll see, but like your relationship with corporations gets complicated. And also just trying to figure out our time, and when we travel together and we're with other people, we want to be present for them. But this time, oh boy, this is a real raw trip report from a real trip. Wonderful, unbelievable. And that's really why we're here. Now, I'm going to try to, Scooter shared with me some photos, but I wanted to kind of set it up for all use. And just tell you, like, that they call this thing in the U.S. here Father's Day. And we're going to be, I don't know if this episode will come out on Father's Day, but this is a past Father's Day I spent with Scooter. And Scooter and I are much more comfortable calling it Father Figure Day because, I'm not Scooter's father. I'm not his daughter's father. But I would consider myself a father figure. And you don't have to have a father's figure to be a father figure, as Ray is known to say. Like, you could, this is just the truth. I don't say it's in my opinion. Anybody could be a father figure. I thought that was pretty witty. You don't have to have the father's figure. They call it something else, like, is that a dad joke? Is that a father? No, it's a father figure joke about father's figures. I think the Albert and Costello would like that. But we're here to talk about an actual Father's Day that also included changing of the plans from Scooter's wish list for his Father's Day into a Father's Day only, I would have dreamed of as a father figure and that other people could dream of too. But was real. So where do we start? So we start with Father's Day. I'm just scanning through the pictures here, so I'm slightly distracted. So I'll just stop talking. Okay, so I have some pictures here, and I know where the pictures start, so that is good. And I will tell you so that Scooter had to roll with it because, I'll tell you, Father's Day. Okay, so let me give everything a setup here. So usually I recount trips Scooter and I had with his daughter, his little one, or other people, or just the two of us, to theme parks and such things. And so this is now Scooter loves, he doesn't just love theme parks. He loves like what some people would call schlocky stuff or kitschy stuff. He's not a collector of those things, but he likes when a theme park like Universal or Disney is a bit of a spectacle, or Las Vegas, for example. You say it's a bit over the top, it's a bit indulgent. But Scooter also likes the little versions of those things, so the touristy areas. Now, not exactly, Scooter would say, the super touristy areas that are like nearly exploitative. Now, Scooter's never been on a cruise before, but he would use that as an example from his, just as his projection. So it's not based on anything if you're a cruise fan. But what Scooter could conceive as a cruise port in another nation or place where it's, so he said, I don't know if I'm not comfortable with that kind of thing, like the concentrated tourist zone. But one of these places, and Scooter talked about in the intro, that Scooter wants to spend some more time in is these off the beaten paths. If we're going to do things with Orlando, Scooter said, I want to be off the beaten path, and I want to see more of the touristy stuff in Orlando. He's already seen it before, but he also wanted to share it with his daughter. And so we had this trip planned. Now, this was a ways ago when you're hearing this, and he said, I would like us to go to some places that aren't like a theme park or like a Disney or Universal park and spend some time with you, my daughter. And Ray, of course, I said, and Scooter, of course, one of your father figures. He has a father, but you could have a father figure, too. And this wasn't necessarily Father's Day related, just to set it up, but he said, okay. And he had, Scooter's a little bit overambitious, and his daughter's pretty much like that, too. And I'm more of like, okay, well, let's see what we can accomplish. And the good thing about overambition is that when you don't accomplish all the things Scooter wanted to do, pretty much Scooter would say, I want to do everything there is to do in Orlando, next trip, end of story. But that leaves the door open instead of for disappointment for future anticipation. So to set that up there, this trip in this particular summer, Scooter had wanted to go and do everything off of major theme park property. Also, like within a couple days, the good thing was he wanted to prepay for a lot of things because you get a better deal. I said, Scooter, let's hold off on that there. So all is that to say that what Scooter wanted to do for his Father's Day was not those things. He said, Ray, I got a couple things I've always wanted to do. And I'd love for you and Sophia and I to do these things. One was for Father's Day. One was to drive one of those boats, which they call a water sprite, at Disney World in the big Seven Seas Lagoon. And Scooter said, even if maybe we could even drive over the water bridge and go into the Bay Lake as well. And Scooter said, and I'd like to have a Dole Whip at the Pineapple Polynesian Resort. And he said, well, I guess if we're going to eat for Father's Day, I'd like to do the buffet at Fort Wilderness. So he said, that would be my Father's Day wish. Now, sometimes when you wish upon a star, you get your dreams come true, according to some things, but not always. So first of all, I applaud Scooter for checking because he said, I don't think we need to reserve any of this ahead of time, Ray. This will be a flexible one, which worked out. He said, we'll go there. And he said, I'd like to eat at the buffet, but we could see when we get, he goes, we'll set it up a little bit more. But he goes, and then go, maybe we'll have lunch at the buffet, or he goes, depending on when we get up, breakfast, but I don't know, which will make sense in a minute there. And then we'll do the boat thing, or maybe we'll do the boat thing, and then we'll get the Aloha, what's it called? Dole Whip there at the Polynesian. So at the time we went, it was it was a time, it was after everybody, things were settling down, but they weren't back to normal. And so there was a couple things that made this a tough pull-off. One, there was no buffets at that time at Disney, so the buffet was out. I think that was the last thing we learned, though. Two, the Polynesian was closed except for DVC members, so I don't think all the restaurants were open. And three, Disney was not renting out boats at this time, even though it was, this was, it was 2020, I believe, when we did 2021. No, it's 2021, Scooter just said. So, hello, 2022, I think is when you're hearing this. Is that right? Holy moly. So it's 2021. And, wow, Ray's just stunned at the pass. But anyway, so Scooter had looked it up, I think either before we went to bed or in the morning. And he said, okay, well, there's no boats, so we can't do the boats. I think he looked it up in the morning, and he said there's no buffet, and there's no Dole Whip, because we didn't have tickets to the park or anything. This wasn't like a day we were going to go to a theme park. Now, there was one other thing that sets this up to make it make more sense of why we weren't going there for breakfast, which is actually good, because I think we did find out at breakfast that all this was closed. And Scooter said, well, we'll have to make other plans there. But there was another thing on Scooter's bucket list. Two things. I wouldn't say bucket list. That's a little bit strong. Things he really wanted to do for Father's Day. And one of them was because it was Father's Day, he was able to say, well, it's Father's Day. We got to do this because it's something I wish to do. Now, we were staying not at a hotel on a theme park property. We were staying at a Hyatt something or other, Cyprus or something. And this is an important part of the story for two things. One, Scooter got free breakfast. And again, Ray, if you listen to the Patreon bonus stuff, I kind of explain, Scooter, I don't even think we pay. I think Scooter didn't have to pay for the room either because he used points. And in some sort of combination, free breakfast was included and all that. So we had free breakfast every day. So Scooter, of course, he said, well, I don't want to go to the buffet. If we're going to have free breakfast, we might as well eat up free breakfast and we're getting full value for our time. And they actually had a pretty nice breakfast at this place there. Now, that was one part about it. Now, Scooter would say, and we'll talk about this maybe another time in this hotel, but I would say this may be Scooter's new home hotel in Orlando when we can make it work points-wise and financially. And compared, no offense to Disney, but compared to Disney, what you pay, if you were even paying rack rate at this hotel, you get a lot for your money. And one of the things is this place has like a big piece of land that it owns or rents or whatever, and they have bikes included. Now, they have a resort fee. Again, the great part of dealing with Scooter, no resort fee. But again, because of the points or whatever he was doing, no resort fee. So, but part of the resort fee pays for, you get free bike and boat rentals. They have a little lake there. And they have bikes, and you can ride around the resort. And that was Scooter's main thing he wanted to do to start out his Father's Day. Now, I think we had breakfast, then we went for the bike ride. So we had breakfast. The only thing I can see from pictures from the breakfast, oh, yeah, the pictures show it all, Ray. Hello. I go through the pictures there. So we had breakfast. The only picture of breakfast is Scooter's fruit bowl, which had blackberry, blueberries, and not a honeydew, but the other one. Is that that's not a honeydew. It's the other kind of melon that you have with a breakfast buffet. And then we went and got our bikes there, and we went out riding in the hotel grounds. And they have like a tennis, like they must have tennis competitions there. And so they have like a lot of tennis courts, and not just for the hotel guests, I guess. So we went there. Then there's a road that's supposed to connect to another hotel and golf course, but that road was only open part way. But you're going through all these trees. You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, and maybe see a couple people running around the bikes there. But other than that, it was so nice. Big trees, the sounds of the bugs. And we rode out on this road, kind of a road to nowhere. It was really nice. Then we came back, and then we took a dirt path. Now, again, Scooter's daughter and I, it's Florida. It's still in the morning, so it's not too hot there. But, neither one of us was in a hurry to do a lot of exercising, where Scooter loves this kind of thing. And now he had already found out the news that he couldn't do what he expected to do for Father's Day, which was okay. But so we took the bikes on this dirt path there, and there was like even a place maybe at some point they had horseback riding. It looked a little bit run down, but in a good way. And so we went there. Then we found a wedding pavilion themed to a Western town, like an old-fashioned Western town for like your wedding or your wedding reception, tucked away. And then another wedding area. And we said, oh, isn't this cute? People could have a wedding reception at an old-fashioned Western town. Then we went around the front of the hotel, which is also kind of lush, and there's like a waterfall there. And Scooter just said, I want to look at the waterfall, even though you couldn't really do anything. It wasn't water you could get into, but that was fun there. Then we rode around again, but we had to ride on like something like mulch, and his daughter and I were like, Scooter, this mulch is not fun to ride a bike on. But there was all the trees, they were hanging with Spanish moss, and it was quite beautiful there. Holy cow, was it beautiful. So then Scooter said, okay, let's all take showers here and take our turns in our hotel room, which was perfect. And then what we'll do is he goes, I've got a plan, so don't worry. I've got a plan. There was something else I wanted to do. There was something else I wanted to take my daughter to. And he goes, I'm pretty sure there's a corporate chain restaurant that my daughter's never been to, that there used to be one at Carousel Mall that closed. And he goes, again, it's a corporate, chain restaurant, but he goes, it has a special place in my heart. And he goes, I actually ate at this restaurant once when, I think he talked about it in the intro, not the restaurant, but when he stayed at the Wyndham there and recorded at the Seven Seas Pavilion or whatever it's called with the fishes and stuff. So he said, the plan here is we're going to drive over there. We're going to do some fun stuff. One will be pretty intense, thrill type attraction, and something will be mellow. And he said, I went and bought the tickets ahead of time since it's the day of and we're going there. And then we headed out. Now, we had a car. We didn't have a rental car. We actually had Scooter's parents' car because we were going to relocate it for him later in a couple weeks back from Florida to New York. But so there was a lot. Now, this is something nobody talks about, but the traffic in Orlando, even like on a Sunday, can be very unpredictable. So we had a bit of traffic. Scooter said, okay, if I did this differently, I would have stayed at a hotel, because he said there's a Hyatt Place. There's also another Hyatt I never stayed at there. And so he said, if I was going to do it again here, I'd stay at one of those hotels, because doesn't make a lot of sense to like be doing so much driving around. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but we got to the restaurant. Scooter knew right where it was. I think the map was going there anyway. And we found out he wanted to eat at Pizzeria Uno. Now, I know a lot of people are rolling the eyes there. And, of course, but this was Scooter's day. And he said, again, this is like leaning into the tourist experience. And again, your friend Ray and Scooter, like this whole international drive is so, like we would love if Len Testa and Jim Hill could do like an economics of this area because again, it's like so many places, so many hotels and chain restaurants, even a few independent restaurants there and tourist sites. And it's just fascinating. So we got to Pizzeria Uno, and again, because we had a big breakfast, I'm guessing it's right, like, well, I could look at the time here, I guess. I don't have any pictures from there, but I do have a picture. Okay, this is later in the day. But let's see here. Just give me 1 second here. This is your friend Ray. This is when Scooter bought the tickets. Maybe he bought them. Oh, interesting. That can't be. Well, maybe it is. So, I'm guessing probably we're eating lunch at about 2 p.m. Though it could have been noon because I don't know if these pictures are around East Coast time or West Coast time because it says 3:38 p.m. there. But I don't know if it's local, So we don't know that. But so let's just say around like a late lunch, we got to Pizzeria Uno. There was a lot of cars in the parking lot. Oh, again, yes. Scooter said, well, that's weird because it's like after lunch rush, but before dinner rush. And we ate at Pizzeria Uno. Now, during this time, 2021, eating anywhere was a challenge because staffing and all the changes and everybody getting back to normal was challenging for everybody. So anytime you went to eat somewhere, at least in the summer of 2021, it was a bit like rolling the dice, like what the experience was going to be like. And that's understandable because everybody's just doing your best. But Scooter was hopeful. He said, okay, hopefully this is a corporate restaurant. Like it's later in the lunch rush. Hopefully it'll be okay. And it was wonderful. So everybody was doing the best there. And Scooter's, like, we were able to get the kind of pizza Scooter wanted and something his daughter wanted, and our sodas were filled up. I think at this time we were drinking iced tea, maybe, because Scooter was still trying to behave. But so we had a wonderful lunch, and it was just kind of like what the Scooter had ordered, because he ordered the lunch there. And I don't think we had dessert because I think Scooter was like, well, we'll get dessert later. Like, also we were kind of full from the pizza and and all that. And we were excited for the next stop. So we had these tickets. Now, this was the first error Scooter made, and he'll be perfectly honest. But, he's a bit of a rule follower. He should have, where we were going was not that far from Pizzeria Uno. And so we should have just left the car at Pizzeria Uno because, we paid, a good amount of money for lunch and parking was free where we were going. But he did not. He said, let's move the car to the parking where we're going, follow the rules. And that was a challenge because, a Father's Day and a lot of people were out. It was the summer. This is when the kind of rubber band kind of snapped back. Everybody was getting out of town and such things. So it took a little bit of work to find a parking spot there. And there was even traffic just to get into the parking. But we eventually found a spot. And we parked, and that's when we realized we were going to Orlando Eye, or I think it's called the Icon at Icon Park, or Orlando Eye at Icon Park or something. And Scooter said, I bought a combo ticket. So we parked the car, and then we found pretty long lines. And again, of course, there's a lot of bathroom situations. So Scooter said, Ray, you and Sophia wait in this line to get on the Orlando Eye. and I'll go in the line to get the tickets because I already paid for the tickets, but then you got to go to will call. And of course, in the back of Scooter's mind, he's always worried about getting, even though he bought the tickets through a company he's familiar with, he's always thinking there's going to be an issue. So I think Scooter left us. He ran and used the bathroom. It was a pretty long line, but not a long wait, like a reasonable line, I would say. And then he got in line, and he was concerned he was in the wrong line. And he was also concerned that he wouldn't get, that there would be some sort of hiccup. And when he did it, the guy said, well, like he was making noises like that. And Scooter was like, and the guy said something, and Scooter said, well, I paid for the tickets. It's right here. And the guy said, okay, well, I'm going to have to call them. But it ended up, it was just like, I think we had some other hiccup before, earlier in the trip or something. But it ended up, it was just like a little bit of extra work. But it wasn't any complication. It just took a while because there was multiple layers of approval or something. But this gentleman printed out our tickets. Then Scooter went back to the line. Then Sophia and I got to use the restroom. And by the time we got back, we were pretty close. And we got out. Now, so Sophia and I had never ridden the Orlando Eye together. So we got to go on the Orlando Eye. Now, it was harder for Scooter because he got to do a show from there and ride it as much as he wanted. And because it was 2020 or 2021, we got to have our own car there. And the Orlando Eye's air conditioned. It was a little bit overcast of a day, but it wasn't foggy or anything. And so we went up there, and that was so much fun. Oh, boy, was that a view there. And we got a beautiful view. First, we got let's see. I'm trying to look through the pictures. Yeah, we had a view. We could see our car and where our car was parked there. And I drive. Then on the other side, and I don't think Scooter, maybe he talked about it in his Orlando Eye show. I think it's Boeing has a gigantic campus that I've never seen before. I'm looking at the sky. It was like Orlando stormy sky, pre-stormy sky there. But yeah, I couldn't believe the extent of this Boeing facility. I think that's who it is, or something Dynamics or something. And I don't know if that was the land that Universal used to own, and then they sold it when they were owned by Vivendi. I remember reading the book, but that's quite a piece of land if that was what they sold there. But so we went up, we saw a car, and then Scooter pointed out our next destination, which was the Orlando Starflyer. We saw the parking lot, and then we got very, I would not say excited for this Orlando Starflyer. Now, if you go to Orlando, not only do I recommend going to iDrive or having a view of iDrive, but I strongly recommend doing it at night because, holy cow, this Orlando Starflyer and the Orlando Eye, the lighting packages on these things are just absolutely phenomenal. Like, you could just watch them all night long. And that's another thing that, now we were there during the day, so, it's very cool to look at. Now, I don't think they would be as cool. It might be interesting to ride them at night, and the Starflyer in particular. But the Orlando Eye, maybe not so much, and maybe at a discount, and maybe say, oh, okay, you get to come back again. Maybe they have that kind of ticket. I don't even know. But so we rode the Orlando Eye, and we saw the Starflyer, and then we got off. We used the restroom again. I don't think we got anything. It was very busy. They have a food court there, and that's where the C's is and the Madame Tussauds or whatever. And even the Icon Park has been developed since Scooter was last there. And a lot of, it's very nice. Oh, boy, like there's restaurants and bars, and everybody looked like they're having a good time. I think sometimes they probably have live music. And we were just curious, too, like how many people are local versus tourists. But everybody looked like they were having a nice day. So then we walked to the Orlando Starflyer. And Scooter said, Ray handled this one for me. So it's a tower. Like that tower's up there. And it has a very good view. But it's also one of those swing rides like that. You sit in a swing and you go around like a merry-go-round. This one is a dual swing, so you sit with two people. So I did not go with Scooter and his daughter. As a matter of fact, I just observed because I said, I'm more comfortable observing here from the ground. But from what Scooter said, you sit in there, they go over everything, they're very clear, and then the swing starts going, and you go up and you get an amazing view. I don't know if you go as high. Scooter said he did, like he was a reverse. He said he didn't look up. He said, I didn't want to look up, but he goes, you get a good view, Scooter said. Just say that, Ray. Beautiful view, a lot of cool air, and you go around, and it's thrilling, Scooter said, and beautiful views, very similar to different views than Orlando Eye because you're moving at a different pace. And then we got down, and we were thrilled, Scooter and his daughter were, because they went on it. And then Scooter said, okay, let's keep this adventure going. And he said, let's go to like one of those tourist. He goes, I'd like to just drive around a bit. Always wanted to. He goes, I have a little bit of a regret about this iDrive. And we said, okay, Scooter, tell us what your regret is and we'll help soothe it. And he said, well, okay, so during the history of the podcast, I stayed at this Wyndham. He said either 2 or 3 times. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 times. Oh, no. 2 times he stayed at the Wyndham and once at the Hyatt Place. Hyatt Place, yeah. He went to 2 conferences at the Wyndham. Stayed there once when there was no conference before. Then stayed there again at the conference. And then stayed at the Hyatt Place because, free breakfast and Scooter, it's easy. I think it's... Scooter likes being able to walk to conferences and not stay at the conference hotel all the time. But during those times, Scooter said, I've walked all the way to the convention center end of iDrive, never past the convention center, because he said, I don't know what's past there anyway, not much. But he said, on the other side, I've only gone as far as the McDonald's, which is just across kitty corner from the Wyndham where he had stayed there. He got a Shamrock Shake at the Wyndham or the McDonald's and had lunch there. And I think someone once said it was the biggest McDonald's in the world, but it isn't. It was, or maybe, I don't know. There's also a show that Scooter said, wow, that would be cool to go to. Well, not this trip, but like a dance and musical show across the street there on the corner. But he said, I'd like to go down that street and see where it goes, and I think it'll go eventually to Universal, and we were going to pick up our annual passes that we had bought when they were on sale. You get like 16 months for 12 months or something. And just walk around City Walk or go into Universal. But he said, first I want to go to like a tourist place and see that drive, and then we'll figure it out from there. He goes, maybe it was something else will come up. Because Scooter also wanted to go to Old Town, Kissimmee, all these fun spots. So we said, okay, let's go to this tourist place. So we pulled in, we went down iDrive that way. We crossed whatever that major intersection is. We started driving. And then Scooter found this place called Bargain Planet, which looks like... a spaceship there. It has like it has like a UFO with planets circling it, and then it even has a tower with a person from outer space wearing a hat. So very right in Scooter's wheelhouse, So we went in there, and it was big inside. And I think we ended up going to one of these places. I don't know if it was the same day when we were walking on iDrive. It may have been. So I don't know if this was our second or our first tourist type place. But we went in there, And it was not, like in 2021, you say, well, I don't know how much, we had coverings on and those things. And we were already protected, but, it was, Scooter said it was a little down, like, it wasn't one of the kind of place experience that lifted you up. Like it was schlocky, but in a dusty way. But that just might have been our mood because we had been, but we had fun. I guess Scooter would have preferred if there was something like, other than like 99-cent shirts, like 99-cent cold waters, a Gatorade, or something else, like to pull you in there, but there wasn't. Now, again, we go into another small regret of Scooter's, but they opens a window. We left there, and I think somewhere behind there is one of the fun spots or the old towns or something. And we did not go there because Scooter said, well, I don't know. And he also said, well, like he'd already told Sophia we were going to go to City Walk, so she was excited. And then we drove in Universal, not that far from where we were with the tourist place. It was two of Universal's new hotels that we've never seen before, Surfside and Dockside. And we pulled down the street there. And for a second, Scooter thought about going in and parking just to use the, so we could eat at the, or check out the food courts. And we didn't. And Scooter said that was an error. So he said, Ray, that was a mistake. This is afterwards. And he does not in a negative way. He said we should have stopped there, checked out one of the hotels so we could have seen it for our own eyes, because that's something we love to do. But he said also we could have taken the bus to Universal and tried it out, but also because of this is when you say Monday morning, looking back, whatever you want to call it. But Scooter said, nah, let's just go to Universal and park the car. But because, again, like 2021, it was a time when everybody was doing the best. And so when we got to park the car, it was dinner time, and there was a traffic line. There wasn't very many lanes open, and it was very, very busy. Because I think a lot of people were saying, well, let's go to City Walk, let's go to Universal for the evening or whatever they were doing. And because if we took the bus, we would have parked for free. But because we were going to get our annual passes, you still have to pay for parking. And Scooter said we would have got around that if we would have took the bus from the hotel that we weren't staying at. And I said, Scooter, they and he said, yeah, but it would have been an adventure. Now, we were still on an adventure. So I said, Scooter, we're still on an adventure. So what we did was we went, okay, I got my pictures here. Now, let me look at this time from Bargain. It says 4:44 p.m. So that was definitely a local time when we were at the Bargain Planet. What time were we at the Orlando Starflyer? It looks like we got off at 4:42 or 4:34. Let's see. This picture from, 3:58. So these are local times probably. 4 o'clock, we were on the Orlando Eye. 4:30, we were either getting on the Starflyer or getting off of it. It's about a 4-minute ride anyway. And then we were at Bargain Planet about 4:45. So then we drove to Universal. There's a picture. Oh, boy, that did take a while there because I have a picture of Scooter's foot that maybe he took accidentally. Let's see. Can we bring up a map to see exactly where that is or what? We can. This is getting ready to walk into Orlando. Okay, so, wow. So it took us about an hour to park the car, to get from Bargain Planet to park the car, and then walk through City Walk. So that was a little bit of a thing. But also maybe 20 minutes of that was probably walking and getting into the park. But we parked the car eventually, no problem, after we got through the parking place. Then we headed to the ticket place, and we said, "What should we eat at City Walk, or should we eat in Orlando Universal Studios?" And his daughter said, "Of course we're going to eat in the studios. Come on." So we went into the studios there, and first we had a voucher for the annual passes we had purchased. So actually, it's funny. Ray said we're not going to any parks, but we are, I guess. Now we were going to this park with a pretty specific intention, which was to recreate photos of Scooter's daughter from other trips. So we had a little bit of a to-do list. So first we went to a store that's run by SpongeBob SquarePants. And we took now this is about 6 p.m., but we took some pictures of his daughter in the pineapple under the sea and in some sort of raft chair that says out to lunch. And so that was like 6 o'clock there. Oh, then there was a Fast and the Furious for Fast 9, F9. One of Dom's car was there. Oh, what is this? Diagon Alley. A picture of Diagon Alley. Where's that from? 7:05 p.m. there. Oh, I guess so at 7:05 p.m. we were in the Wizarding World. So we didn't do any, I don't remember any of this. I don't have any. And then we went to Universal, what do you call that place there? To the Fast Food Boulevard. I bet you Scooter, no, oh boy, I forgot, of course, Scooter had to get a soda pop there. So this was interesting. So Scooter, this doesn't exist anymore. Another thing he did was prepay for one fast service meal plan, with the theory that his daughter would then have freedom to kind of so you got one fast food combo meal a day and one snack, two snacks or something. And the snacks would be good for butterbeer. So, because his daughter, kids love that butterbeer. And then Scooter would get his unlimited soda cup. So we went and got his soda cup. And now the gentleman, they gave the soda cup actually gave us the cup, but I don't think he it wasn't set up for the whole trip. Like it was supposed to be set up for the whole trip, but he only activated it for the day or something, not in a way that actually it worked out. Because then the next day when we actually got it formally activated, the person, so it worked out that it was active for when we were going to be there. So then Scooter had his soda cup. His daughter had his little meal plan card. Then we went to Fast Food Boulevard to eat at the Simpsons. So it has a bunch of Simpsons restaurants, Simpsons themed. It's like a Simpsons themed fast food place. So there's Lisa has a little tea shop where you can get tea and cakes and those kind of things. I think it's called Lisa's Tea House of Food or something. Then there's Cletus has a chicken place. Then there's a fish place kind of based on the fish place from The Simpsons. I don't know. Scooter's not good with any of this, what it's called. And then there's a pizza Italian place. And then there's a Krusty Burger. So we were wanting to try the Krusty Burger because we'd never tried it before, that Scooter remembered. So we actually got one of the Krusty Burgers, the one that's the best reviewed there. And we shared, I think we shared just one meal, maybe, or 2 meals between the 3 of us. And we had some fries. We had the burger, very good burger. And it was nice. We enjoyed ourselves. Then we went, it looks like then we left. According to the pictures and stuff, I don't know. So I'm guessing, though, what else would we have done? Because I don't have Scooter's notebook. So I guess maybe we'll have an addendum on here. But just off the top of Ray's head, what we would have done is we probably wrote E.T., after we took the pictures at SpongeBob, because you can't not ride E.T. And then I'm guessing we also waited in line for The Simpsons, because usually on a Sunday afternoon, evening, probably was like a 30-minute, and I can remember waiting in line for The Simpsons because they have the movies running. And so I know we did those two things. Maybe we also did Gringotts single rider line. I'm just picturing, I'm almost positive we did, because Scooter's daughter was very excited, and I can remember her saying, oh yeah, because usually when you do that, you never know what the line's going to be, because we didn't have any fast passes, anything. But like sometimes with the Gringotts single rider line, it could be really far backed up where you're waiting almost as long as you'd wait in the regular queue. This time we walked right up. There was only two people in front of us, so we got right on. I think we rode it right again right after that, because she said, one more time, let's do this. So we rode it again. I don't think that's probably all we did. Maybe we got a butterbeer. We didn't take any pictures, because I got to imagine for Father's Day, Scooter would have wanted, we had a shake with our Krusty Burger. But is that the only dessert that we had, Scooter? I don't know. But yeah, that's it. I mean, that was a nice little Father Figures Day. I hope if you're hearing this, you celebrate your father figures, or you have it, or you celebrate yourself. You could be your own father figure, and celebrate it for just you, and say, hey, I'm going to pat, you're doing as good a job as you can. Just like in 2021, we were all just doing the best we could. And trying to be patient, trying to treat everybody with dignity and respect. And maybe Ray will be back here with a quick addendum, but I'm not so sure. So I'm going to say goodnight and tuck you in just in case. Good night, everybody. I just want to thank everybody that reviewed the show on Apple Podcasts recently. Let's see. Crimson says, ex-overnight worker, this is what I needed. Used to work night shifts, and this podcast would always help me reset my sleeping patterns. Now use it when I'm anxious to sleep, and it works well. Don't think I've heard the end of an episode. JSH says, awesome podcast. This is such an awesome podcast to fall asleep. I find it much easier when there's a voice there and I'm not alone. Thank you. Let's see. Lily says, it's helping my sleep and marriage. Newly married and moving in together, and our night routines are different. I'm someone that needs one type of sound. He needs another type of sound. And so we were both wearing each other out. And then I started playing boring podcasts that wouldn't pique his curiosity and keep him up. And the TV was not boring enough. Googled boring podcasts and found you. Thanks. Robin says, it's 5 stars, so I think this is a joke. Too interesting. You're too interesting, and you keep my friends awake and wanting more. Hannah says, thank you. This started this podcast when I was 3 years old, and now I'm 11, and helps me go to sleep now that I have to get up for school. Thanks, Hannah. Hannah or Hannah. Let me know what's correct. MME says, love this podcast. It's a great podcast, very soothing and boring. Love Scooter. And Boo says, can't live without it. Love this podcast. Hilarious, compassionate, inclusive. Appeases me, relaxes me. Great job. I support it on Patreon. So thanks, everybody who took the time to review the show, and let me know. I appreciate it. Sleep With Me exists as a free podcast twice a week, over an hour, because of people who support the show on Patreon, so people who support our sponsors. And we grow as a podcast by people letting people know about podcasting in general, or Sleep With Me specifically. You can even get rewarded by doing our referral program at sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. And thanks to the sponsors and even these tuck-in sponsors, our feed went from just 200 free episodes to, as of today when I'm recording this, which will be months ahead, there's over 350 episodes in our free feed. So thank you for everybody that makes that possible by supporting the sponsors and stuff. I really appreciate it. So yeah, here's one more thing to tuck in.